Welcome to another program of Trophy Moments and a Few Firsts with me, Keith Baldwin, your relationship director at Spikes Trophies. And today, I have a very special guest, the beautiful, the vibrant Franne McNeal. And Franne is the executive director of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program that's currently run out of Community College of Philadelphia. One thing I didn't know, she at one time had significant TV where she interviewed business executives. And also she's a keynote speaker. And I didn't know until today, an author of Significant. So welcome, Franne.
Thank you,
It's
Keith.
an honor.
I am so excited, and it is my honor and my pleasure to be on your show. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So I want to tell the guests, and then I'll have you tell the guests, my audience, who you are and how you got here. But we met during the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. I'm an alumni. Great program. If I can give you a commercial, it's a great program for small business people, and you can tell a little bit about it. But you were not the executive director when I went through it.
That's correct.
You were my business advisor. God bless you. So tell us a little bit about who Franne is and Goldman Sachs and what you got going on. And
Sure. Well, I think my love of getting to know people and helping people is a big part of the journey that brought me to be your BA, your business advisor, as well as many other local businesses.
How many local businesses have gone through the program?
Through the Community College of Philadelphia, at this date, 851.
Wow.
So we celebrated our 10th year celebration in September of 2023.
And I was in the 16th cohort. So
Right.
what cohort are you up to?
We are on cohort 32.
Wow.
We skipped one cohort, and that was during the summer of 2020. Because at that point, COVID, and they were preparing the materials to go virtual. So we had 7 virtual cohorts. We're back live. And again, my journey originally with Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses was in New York. And I was a faculty member for Mod 4, You Are the Leader. Mod 5, It's the People. Financial statement workshops. And Mod 3, I had to pitch it. And then they opened up the site in Philadelphia. So rather than getting that 5 a.m. train to New York, I was able to come to the Community College of Philadelphia.
So you're born and raised here?
Born and raised here, absolutely. Philly girl.
So for the people who don't know what the program is,
Right.
give a brief description of what the 10,000 Small Business Program is. And how do you get in it and who is it for?
10,000 Small Businesses program is a 14-week program. If you don't live within an hour and a half drive of where there's a physical location, you can be part of a national program. And essentially, it's a business education program with lots of networking, lots of community, and an opportunity to really work on your business versus in your business, gain strategic skills, and you create a growth plan. So rather than creating a business plan, you're really looking off into the future and saying, what's a new product, a new service, or new market that I could create? So folks that went through the program pre-pandemic were totally prepared to pivot and did so very nicely. So you can get more information at www.10ksbapply.com.
Yeah, if you're a small business, how small? Define who's your
Sure,
perfect
great question.
target.
So we accept businesses that have annual revenues as small as 75K and as large as 10M. And the reason, the real key here is that you have to be an owner or co-owner. Mm-hmm. You have to have 2 or more employees because, as you know, it's an all-day intensive program. It's a commitment. And then you basically spend 10 hours a week in the classroom and then 10 hours a week outside of a classroom.
You got homework.
Yeah. So you've got to be able to step away from your business. The average business is about 200, 250K. And one of the things that makes the program work is the diversity. So I mean the diversity of industries. So you might be in a growth group with someone that has a $90,000 business. You might have a $6 million business. Someone else might be from Delaware or Southern New Jersey. Someone might have a coaching business or a construction business. So it's this opportunity to
With
be at the
diverse
table.
backgrounds.
Absolutely diverse backgrounds. And to learn the same thing, to think, write, feel, discuss, produce, all on a similar topic and realize, oh my goodness, we're all in this together. And over 85% of the people in 10KSB end up doing business with each other. It's that powerful. So
I remember either a first or second class, I came up to you and said, is the diversity planned? Because it was just so, it was an awesome experience because the diversity added so much. The different viewpoints that you got from all the different people sitting around that table and in that room was just, it was inspiring. And it helped a great deal. I still get together with a number of my classmates and alumni. I met one last week, came up for lunch just to catch up and help each other.
Right.
So yes, it becomes a community. And
Absolutely.
I have people from around the country that I know in my industry that have gone through it in other cities. So how many cities is it in?
Right now it's in 19 physical locations, and then there's a national program. So if you live in Hawaii or Puerto Rico or Montana, that kind of thing, you can actually still go to 10KSB virtually and then spend the last week at the Goldman Sachs headquarters in New York. So all expense paid trip. So powerful program.
So how... Do you have a success story? One, you don't have to name the name if you don't want to. Is there one or two that stand out?
Aside from you?
No. There's people that are a lot more successful than I am. So,
well, I think I have a few that I'll share very briefly because one of the things you learn in 10KSB is EEC, effective, efficient, and compelling. So I'll give brief stories that, and success is defined in many ways.
Yes,
one example I always share is someone from cohort 1 went to PIDC, which is a CDFI, so a community development financial institution, wanted a loan for his business. Asked for $50,000, they said no. He went through the program, he was all ready, he knew his numbers, he went back and asked for the same $50,000 amount, and they said no. And he was like, what do you mean? I went through 10KSB. And they said, you know what? Based on your preparation, your presentation, we don't think $50,000 is enough. You've laid out a case. We're going to give you $150,000. That person now has 7 businesses. So that's one story.
The one thing that impressed me about going through 10KSB is that it does make you work on your business.
Absolutely.
It makes you put together your numbers, get organized, so that if you're a banker, if I'm loaning money, absolutely it makes a difference because I know that that person has taken the time to work on their business and have put their stuff together.
Put their stuff together, knows their numbers. Right,
yep.
right.
So I'm going to bank on that person more so than somebody that hasn't.
Right. Right. Yeah,
it's
you
a safer
have
bet.
to learn. A lot of people love their business,
Yep.
and a lot of people sort of live in their business,
Yes.
but they don't necessarily know the business of running the business. They don't know the business of building a team, of picking the right people, of selecting the customers that value what you have to offer, of pricing, etc. So to get that all over a period of time, so, within,
how long is the program?
Roughly 3 months.
Yeah.
So in 3 months, so it's definitely immersive. Folks are like, oh my goodness. But it's a great way to get what some people call a mini MBA.
I have referred to it as that when people ask me about it.
Absolutely. Except this way, you're working on your business and learning how to grow it versus somebody else's business.
It made
So
me research the
powerful.
industry and made me do a number of things that I would have never done.
Absolutely.
And
It's
I know-
all about that.
I know
Trust
it helped
the
me.
process.
I know it helped a number of my alumni that I talked to.
Right.
So I appreciate that.
Yes, it's
So-
very exciting.
So what else do you have going on? You're
Well,
a keynote speaker?
I'm a keynote speaker. I
What do you
speak
speak
a
on?
lot on, well, my brand is all about significant. And so I talk with people, yes, as evidenced by the book, right? I work with a lot of business owners, business associations, trade associations who are struggling with this question of how can we grow our business? How can we add value to our business? And so my brand is significant business results. And that is a key topic. Another topic that people often...
So are you an individual business coach too?
I am an individual business coach. I offer mastermind
did not know that.
programs. Yes. I was doing that way before the internet. In fact, when I started my first business, I would coach people by phone, and people would be like, well, why don't you have an office? And the real reason was I couldn't afford an office, but I had a phone.
You were a startup.
I had a phone voice, and I knew how to work with entrepreneurs. So I was doing, online or non-in-person coaching a long time ago. So significant business results is one of my topics. And another topic that I'm really passionate about is how people spend their energy. So focus your energy for action so that you can create significant business results. And finally, I'm currently working with a system. A lot of people know about EOS.
Yep.
And I work with a system called Value Builder. So it really helps. Yes, it actually has been in business for a long time, but the focus is on exit strategies and succession planning. So and I'm not a business broker, so it's all about how do you prepare yourself to find the value in your business so that if you want to exit or you want to be acquired or you're prepared. And you can do so at the right value because you've built it in. So it's very exciting.
So I'm going to get into our topic.
Sure.
Which is a trophy moment.
A trophy moment.
So in your life, what was a trophy moment? What's something that was very significant, either the first award you got or some special recognition? When I say that to you, what comes to mind? What was your trophy moment?
What immediately comes to mind is the opportunity to be the speaker for Jefferson University Hospital after being paralyzed as a result of chemotherapy and breast cancer and spending over 2 weeks at Jefferson Hospital. And so one of the reasons that I was selected as the speaker is even though I was paralyzed on the left side of my body for 2 weeks and went through physical therapy, while I was in the hospital, my customer focus, customer satisfaction, process analysis mind was working. And I was not paralyzed in the mouth. So I was busy taking notes. They had a little,
how long ago was
marketing
this?
customer. Oh, at this point, years, over 20 years ago.
Okay.
They had a customer service little tag. And so I would occasionally write notes and acknowledge the people that were helpful. By about the 10th note, someone from marketing called me and said, "We have never gotten this many notes from anybody." And I said, "I'm here. All I can do is sit here." So when the residents come in and ask questions, I'm evaluating. How's it going? Are they using customer service? When's your last bowel movement? There are good and bad ways of asking that. And so, really the nutrition staff, et cetera. So
were you giving them business advice, or you were just being act of kindness and recognizing them?
At the moment, it gave me something to do.
Okay.
Because I couldn't work on my business, and I hadn't planned on being out of my business for 4 weeks. So it was really just sort of the Franne McNeal mind at work. And then marketing actually came to me and said, you've pointed out a number of things that we can work on. And I said, well, let's talk about a contract. But I actually organized a tea. I typically have tea with a group of women. And so I was in the hospital at the time that we had our tea. So my tea ladies, who are international folks, came to me. But then I said, why should I have tea alone? So I talked with the nursing staff. And I said, is there any way, and the dietitians, is there any way to make sure that everybody on the floor gets a chance to participate in tea? So they actually brought out the fine china and set up tea with scones, etc. And it happened to be the same weekend as, kind of the big football weekend. So then afterwards, so primarily women participated. Then afterwards, they did a Super Bowl party. Never had done that before. So the president of Thomas Jefferson University Hospital said, you know what? Every year we acknowledge our employees. Who better than you, who has spent the time to acknowledge our employees from the patient perspective, to be the speaker for our employees?
So you didn't receive the award, was
No.
being recognized.
To
give out an award.
To give out an award, to give recognition to employees of the hospital.
Where was this held? Was it held at a banquet hall, or
it was held at Jefferson University, right? Yeah.
And what did you give?
So,
what was the awards?
So I actually gave the keynote speech.
Okay.
So, and that was a trophy moment for me because it was an example of, did I want to have paralysis? Did I want to be in the hospital?
Mindset.
No, but it was
Perspective,
mindset,
attitude.
perspective, and that I'm going to make the best of where I am. And if for
Are you hearing that, audience?
if for some reason something isn't at the excellent quality, I'm committed, particularly since I'm stationary and can't go anywhere, to help others be their best. So I was coaching from the bedside. And again, it really felt good to not only literally walk out of the hospital, but to be able to walk back in front of and acknowledge the employees that had made a difference and continue to make a difference for patients. And I had this unique perspective.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a unique answer. I did not. So what was the keynote speech on? What was your topic? Do you remember?
No, I don't. Not specifically. And as a result of that
Is
whole
that led you into
paralysis
the book?
experience, what happened was very shortly after, Sheryl Sandberg wrote the book Lean In, and I was involved in starting a Lean In circle. And one of the opportunities on her website was to write about a significant event. An event where you leaned in. And so I actually wrote about being paralyzed, not being able to move, and hearing the doctor say, you might not be able to move for a long time. However, if you think about wiggling your toes, you might move. And so my lean in moment was to lean into the fact that, again, mindset, that I could overcome the paralysis. And that story of sort of wiggle and wait, that's what I called it, was then the genesis for creating a series of short stories, inspirational stories for entrepreneurial women about moments in life where you do 5 things. And I'll share with you what the 5 things are.
I was going to ask.
Number 1, get going. Number 2, embrace support. Number 3, find opportunities. Number 4, accept life. And number 5, be significant. So the book was an opportunity to take moments from my life, whether it was high school or college or my first job, which was a disaster, and look at them from the perspective of what did you learn? What was that kernel of truth and opportunity? And how was it significant? And then sharing that story with others so that they then could have that self-reflection as well. So
I hope you're listening, audience. There's a lot of good nuggets in there. So 2 things that came out of that. One is, you said the first job was a disaster.
Right.
What was it, and what did you learn?
Sure. So out of college, I was an American history major in Princeton, and my first job was with, at the time, Smith Klein Beecham, and the president of the company was a history major. So being a young woman graduating from Princeton started my first job at 21, I thought, well, I'm on the path to be the president, and I was in a management training program. But what I didn't realize is there's this thing called protocol. So I remember being assigned to the manufacturing area, and I was my only job, sitting next to a very noisy printer, was to analyze statistics from the manufacturing area 3 or 4 blocks away. And so being a history major, being, research and analytical, I thought, I could look at the data, but why not go over to the manufacturing site and talk to the people on the manufacturing line?
Makes sense to me.
And that's exactly what I did. Now, at the time, people were like, okay, you're from headquarters, fine. They let me in. I talked to what at the time were the pink ladies. So literally there were women in pink bonnets that were processing all the medication. When I got back to 1500 Market, my manager called me, and he was Jack, and he said, Fran, I'd like you to come up. And I'm thinking, oh, sure, I'll come up. He brought me in his office and said, Fran, you do not make decisions on your own and go and ask. And at that time, he said, you have 3 other assignments, so no problem. But I want you to think about the fact that there's kind of a system and a process for doing things, and you can't make these independent decisions. But he said, at some time, I imagine that you'll make a great entrepreneur. And quite frankly, it was an insult. But I didn't take it as an insult. What he was clearly saying is, girl,
When you were
you
talking,
probably
that's what I'm
don't
thinking.
have-
That's exactly what I'm
you
thinking.
don't have the stuff that it takes to be a corporate robot. And I thought, that's okay.
Yep.
I went on, my next assignment in that training program was in HR, so I got to interview people. So initiative was okay. And the actually the assignment before that, I sold drugs. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep in the
Oh, really?
hospital.
I didn't know that.
So in that, I loved going back to my private school, when they brought back alumni and said, hi, I'm Franne McNeal. And I want to let you know that I've sold drugs. And the, alumni, the headmistress was like, oh, wait a minute, did we make the wrong decision? I'm like, no, legal drugs in the hospital for SmithKline. But that assignment was one that, again, required initiative. You had to go up to residents, you had to go up to nurses, you had to go up to people who did not want to hear about, medical contradictions and contraindications, and you had to convince them that they should spend 20 minutes with you. So, of course, you brought food. And then you would go through your litany of, blah, 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 blah. So when I went into this manufacturing assignment, again, sitting next to a very noisy printer, I'm like, wait a minute. There's other ways that this could be approached. No.
And the second question, I didn't know, so you're a breast cancer survivor, and is that what the paralysis was from?
It was actually from the stroke. I believe that I had too much chemotherapy, and there are a lot of statistics that show that the chemotherapy can cause blood clots.
Right.
And the blood clots, depending on where they are, can cause a stroke.
So, okay.
So 2 days after my last chemotherapy session, it was very close to Christmas. I was having dinner with my family in a Chinese restaurant. I went to put on my coat, so it's a winter coat, and I remember having trouble putting my hands in the coat, and I thought, I didn't drink, but that was strange, and And then one of my sisters wanted to go to TLA, the video store. We didn't have the Blockbusters, but we went to the video store to rent videos, and I remember trying to pick a video off of the wall.
Our younger entrepreneurs don't know what a video store is.
Okay. So way back when,
I remember,
before
believe me.
Netflix, before the internet, when there were libraries and books, people rented videos.
Isn't that amazing? If we have to explain that.
So, in any case, it was like trying to reach something off of a shelf. And my fingers couldn't grab it. I just would knock things off. So I said to my little sister, can you help me? And I did it like 3 or 4 times, and she said, stop. So we fast forward to at nighttime, because it's my little sister. She's sleeping in my room. And when I went to get up to go to the bathroom, I was really wobbly. And then when I came back to get into the bed, I couldn't pull the covers over me. So, 3 times in the night, I was asking my sisters to pull the covers up. And they were like, look, we know we're guests. We know you're the oldest girl, but you are not the queen. In the morning, I could not move.
Could not move.
I was paralyzed. So
That's gotta be
rushed
scary.
to the hospital. They actually wanted to drill a hole in my back of my head, and my mother said no. But as a result, I was paralyzed for 2 weeks. So, yeah, I've been through a lot. I'm sort of like the knock'em sock'em robot. You tell me no,
You'll figure out a way.
I will go into high gear. You knock me down, I might stay down for a little bit, but not for long.
Again, another
Not for
lesson
long.
for my audience. So I'm going to shift gears
Yeah, sure.
to first. And I love first. And you provided me a first today.
That's
first
right.
time I ever got and I'm not asking for my future guests, a gift from my guest who she brought me in a candle, a scented candle.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And this candle is from a Black-owned business based in Philadelphia. The business is called Philadelphia Candle Co., and it's a mother-daughter team who create candles, and all of the scents are named after Philadelphia neighborhoods.
so what scent is this?
This is Mount Airy. And
I
I
love
just
Mount Airy.
thought that a lot of people, get gifts during the holiday season, but not necessarily during the new year. And it's just a way of kind of making the recognition and sharing with a gift that people can use, or even if they don't use, if they take the lid off, they get a little fragrance and aroma. So,
Well, that was very thoughtful. And you even brought candles for my whole production staff. Which,
you know what? It goes back to my pharmaceutical sales rep days.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get down that hallway, you got to give gifts. You got to bring smiles. You got to bring energy. My first business was called HR Energy because I always felt that HR didn't have any energy. And then this business is called Significant Business Results because ultimately I'm interested in helping people, A, be significant, and B, get results that help their business, that help the community and their customers, et cetera. So,
well, by being my executive coach, you helped me.
I'm glad.
And so first,
Mhm.
what's something in your life that you've always wanted to do and never have done?
I would like to have one of my first be on those cruises, that cruise that goes around the world for a year. Because,
We'll talk off air.
yeah, I think that would be a phenomenal experience, one that it wouldn't just benefit me, but because of technology would be able to bring the world to a lot of people. And similar to what you're doing, capture some of the stories and the struggles of the people that are on the cruise. Because the assumption that only rich people are on that cruise is probably false. Most people
Where did you
have
come up with that
struggles to
idea?
get to
Now,
success.
I understand the world cruise, but that angle to it?
Where people are. So, for example, within the 10KSB team, we have a member, and I'm going to call him out by name, Joseph Apia, who is our program manager. And he immigrated from Ghana, came to the United States with $25 in his pocket.
I'm going to give him a shout out. Probably the best dressed person that I know.
He is Mr. Style. He makes
hear that,
his
Joseph?
own little bow ties. He is the coolest guy.
He is. I love Joseph.
And so he started in the mayor room at community college. He then joined our team as a program assistant, then as a program manager. In the meantime, he got his associate's degree from community college.
Wow.
He just finished getting his bachelor's degree from Thomas Jefferson University, and he is now working on his one-year MBA at Eastern University. So when
what's
you
his
look
degree
at
going
him,
to be in?
business administration,
Business,
MBA.
okay.
And when you look at him, depending on who you are, if you see him in his program manager role, aside from being stylish, you might think, oh, well, he's just really great at customer service.
Which
No,
he is.
He is.
He's a
And
personality and a half.
He's a personality. And he is one of a few people that got the President's Award at the college for customer service. And if you hear him talk, if you watch him in action, you would not know the struggles that he went through.
to get here.
And yes, the commitment that he sets for himself and his family to go further. I see Joseph.
He inspires you.
He inspires me and everyone who meets him. I see Joseph
You just gave me
easily
chills.
moving up in higher education. He could be a president of a college or a university. He could also be a diplomat and a representative
I've
for
never
our
seen
country.
him not smile.
Never.
Right?
He is super positive regardless of what's going on. So
He hadn't seen me in, 5 years.
right.
Bam. He had me, and he was, I can't. It was like old home week.
He's super.
Yeah.
So again, people have struggles.
So he's inspired that
Success.
look
Yeah.
of doing something. So you're on this world cruise,
I'm on the world cruise
and you're going to start interviewing, or
interviewing people.
why are you here?
While I'm on the cruise. I have trouble totally relaxing, totally powering down.
Yep.
And what gives me energy is finding that goodness, that greatness, that significance in others. And you do that through listening.
Mm-hmm.
You do that through smiling, encouraging, and asking questions. And so every person on that cruise, from the person that makes the bed and does those really cool towels, like I love those towels, the way that they make them into animals.
Into animals.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
But every single person on that cruise made a choice and they have a story. And I think with 365 days.
So you're not interviewing the guests, you're interviewing the people that are serving you?
Including,
both?
like both.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're going to get a different...
Yes, because you need
Will that
the
become a book?
360. I would hope that it would become a documentary.
Really?
Yes.
So are you bringing a film crew with you?
I don't know. I would hope that by putting this idea out in the world, there might be some folks that are interested, and we might find funding to do that. I think it's something that hasn't been done before. I think the cruise line would benefit.
Oh, yes.
And it is really about human interest. The places you visit, the people that are there, and stories are powerful. So
Hear that, Taylor? Do you want to go on a world cruise?
sign you up. Yes. So
I
that would be a first.
believe in manifestation, putting it out into the universe, because you never know. So you never know who's going to see this. Not that I'm very important, but it could be somebody from the travel industry or some sponsor that likes that take.
Right.
And
right.
So how could they reach you if they want to talk to you about this opportunity?
They can reach me at www.frannemcneal.com. It's 2 N's and an E. Ann is ANNE. I'm Franne, FRANNE, McNeal, MCNEAL. So frannemcneal.com would be a great place to put something in the Contact Us section, and I will be happy to follow up and help you achieve something significant.
And they can also get in touch with you at the Community College?
At the Community College of Philadelphia, right. www.ccp.edu, right.
Now you understand why I asked Fran on this program. It's been a delight. I learned a lot of different things about you that I didn't know. I love your first, by the way.
Okay, great.
Hopefully I'm on that cruise with you.
Well, I definitely want to make it happen. I think there's a lot of opportunities. It would be a win-win-win-win. So when you think about a stop sign, it has 8 sides. So I always go for the 8-sided win. If it's only 2 people win-win, to me that's not enough. When more people are involved, or organizations are involved in that communication loop, you can turn a stop into success. And so that's what it's all about.
That's a perfect way to end. I had never heard that before. That's completely unique.
It's part of my presentation. So,
so thank you, Fran. I'm
so
honored to have you here.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it so much.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
And everybody, till next time, Keith Baldwin on Trophy Moments and a Few Firsts.